Hello and welcome to episode 14 of the Spotlight Games podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Patrick Schweigert, and I am joined, as always, by my great friend, my close friend, my sweet boy, my beefy boy, my my uh my Italian stallion. You're not Italian, are you?
I'm not
My
Italian at all.
my boy from the hills, Kamen Darty.
Okay. Yeah. I was born in the hills.
You were born in the hills, right?
I was
How are
born
you,
in the hills.
Kamen?
Yeah, I'm part of the hill people. I'm doing great, Patrick. And I have to say,
The
welcome
pride
to
of the hill people.
Pride of the Hill people. Welcome to 2022. I am the pride of the hill people.
Yep,
Your one and
that's.
only, your beefy boy Kamen, and
I love
I'm
that.
beyond excited to be here. We survived another year,
Well,
and can't complain too much, I suppose.
but have we survived the fiscal year, which ends
Fuck.
end of quarter one?
Please, we're not talking about anything fiscal right now. I'm planning a wedding.
Yeah,
You know how expensive that shit is.
I do know how expensive that shit
And
is.
I looked at, we're going over wedding stuff today, and I looked at Sid. I was like, "Are you sure you want to marry me? This shit's expensive."
or I mean, you could have just stopped at me. Are you sure you want to marry me?
Yeah, I'm still questioning that. Like, her decision making is very poor.
How are you feeling? Last week when we spoke, you were a little under the weather.
Under the weather. Yes. I'm feeling significantly better. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I do believe I was one of the many who ended up catching COVID somehow. Don't think it was bronchitis. The meds ended up not working at all.
Sure.
So I think that potentially was the situation, and I did indeed catch the Rona for a second time in 2 years.
It could be because you went to that COVID party.
You're right. I did attend a COVID party. Look, in our defense, the party wasn't called COVID party. It was called spitting in each other's mouths repeatedly party.
Right.
And you know what? I got what I asked for.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of things that you asked for.
I did.
We have a great show for our audience. I would say we're going to do a one big topic. We're going to do predictions for the year 2022, calendar year 2022, which we are now 4 days into, or 5 or 6 once we listen to this. January 6th, this will be released. So we've put together a list of 10 or so predictions. We have a couple from the audience as well. Things that we think are going to happen this year. And then my idea is first episode of 2023, assuming we're all still alive.
Hopefully.
We'll rank them, not rank them. We'll score them and see how we did compared to each other. It'll be a grand old time. So bookmark this episode if you like it, and we'll revisit it in a year. But before we do that, Kamen, I'd like to do some quick housekeeping.
Let's do some housekeeping.
Let's just talk directly to our listeners. You know, if you're driving, pull over. I want your full attention here. We'd love it if you rated and reviewed the podcast. Go to the podcast app of your choice. If it's Spotify, we had a whole Spotify thing happen. If you don't follow us on social media, maybe you can't even hear this because you were part of the feed that's been deleted. But we had a duplicate feed of our podcast somehow. The clowns on the internet wanted to burn our show. They wanted to take it and mess with it. I've spoken with Spotify. I've spoken with the people that produce our podcast, or not produce, that publish our podcast. It should all be good. But so yeah, if it's gone, you're not hearing this, I guess. So I can't really tell you to go look at the other one. But rate us if you haven't. We'd appreciate it. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at Spot Games Pod. You can follow us on Instagram at Spotlight Games Podcast. You can be on the show by DMing us in either of those places or by emailing us, mail@spotlightgames.net. As we mentioned last week, hopefully you listened, but because this whole Spotify thing, you might not have heard that episode yet. We're launching a new podcast. It's going to be coming out probably within the next week. It's called Save Trash Cinema. Kamen's going to be the host. We're going to be watching trash cinema and celebrating how awful movies bring us all together and so much more. First, do we want to, putting you on the spot here, do we want to announce what the first movie is going to be, or is that going to be a reveal?
No, I think it's a perfect time to announce both the date the podcast will be coming out.
There it is.
And we will also announce the movie. So if you are all ready, drum roll, please. First movie for the Save Trash Cinema podcast is going to be Troll 2, the affectionately known greatest, worst film ever made. We're starting off with an absolute banger. That episode, my friends, is going to drop January 11th. It'll be the very first episode. So please tune in. You guys do not want to miss it. We have a wonderful guest who's going to be on the show with us as well. Very excited to get to talking. Actually, I think this evening I will be watching Troll 2 again.
I might be doing it this evening too. I haven't decided yet. We haven't really talked about what we're doing once we're done recording here, but I don't think we have any strict plans. So tonight might be the night, Kamen. We might be watching it at the same time. If so, maybe we should text each other as if we're friends.
Sync it up.
Perhaps.
Sync it up.
As if we're friends. Well, before we jump into the topic of the show, which is going to be those predictions for this year, let's start each and every episode. Let's start this episode how we start each and every episode, which is Kamen with what we're playing. Kamen, what have you been playing?
What have you been playing?
What we're playing.
ASMR podcast about what we've been
playing.
So I, as it was said before, was very sick the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
Was down for the count. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to play a lot, but I did in the lead up to the show. I did take some time today, and I did something a little unusual.
What was that?
I played some Rocket League.
Oh,
like several hours of Rocket League with our good friend Bennett, who sometimes messages into the show. Bennett, I know you're listening out there. Thank you so much for the time that we spent together. It was precious moments. So yeah, I played some Rocket League, and I have to say, so I platinum Rocket League a few years ago, and normally after I platinum a game, I rarely go back. There's so many games to play and so much so many games, so little time. But Rocket League is one of those games where I always tend to go back. And I play with my friends, especially with Bennett. A lot of times we'll pop it on after a few beers and have a grand old time. So today, Bennett, unfortunately, also has COVID. And down for the count. He is quarantining in his house like a good boy. And so we connected via that beautiful cross-platforming that Sony has thankfully let us do now. And we got some time in to do some Rocket League together, and that was very special. Patrick, I am just dying to know, because I've seen the doc and I've seen all the things you've attempted to play. I'm dying to know your journey this week in particular. Tell me, what have you been playing?
May I, before I jump in, can I just say to Bennett, I'm sorry you're sick, but you shouldn't have gone to the spit in the mouth party.
Yeah.
You knew, just like Kamen, you knew, you know what? I'm starting to put the pieces together. I'm starting to have a Sherlock Holmes moment. You guys didn't go to a party. You just were kissing each other, weren't you?
Oh, busted.
I busted you. Caught red-handed, you dirty little boys. Okay, so I've been having a struggle, Kamen. I have been desperately wanting to enjoy my time, my free time with a video game. It's my favorite hobby. So much so that I started a podcast with you about it. And I'm in a funk. I can't find the game I want to play. What I've mostly been spending my time with actually is The Last of Us Part 2. I'm doing a playthrough on permadeath mode, which is, there's like a few different options of permadeath mode, but essentially you can't die whenever you want, like in the base game. There's like 3 different options. There's like true permadeath, where you die once, you have to start the whole game over. I'm not doing that. I'm not a fool. The next step down is every act. So like every 2 to 5 hours, depending on how long the act is. If you die, you have to start the whole act over. I'm doing the third option, which is what they call chapter, which is on average every 30 to 60 minutes. Typically, like whenever there's like a shift in objective or tone or whatever, if you die, you have to go back to the beginning of that chapter. And I've been having a blast with it. Like so far, if you've played the game, I don't want to necessarily spoil it, but if you've played the game, I'm in like the second portion of the game where you play, things are a little different. And I'm halfway through that portion. So I'm effectively 3/4 of the way through the game. But there's a section in the second half of the game that we actually talked about on a previous episode, where you fight this thing called the Rat King, which is like a bunch of the infected all combined into this one giant thing. And I can't get past it. Like, and the most frustrating part is, when I lose, I have to go back about 20 minutes and I have to like go through the hospital again, there's only a few enemies in that 20 minutes. It's kind of a slog going through the same 20 minutes again. So I've tried like 7 times and I keep dying. So it's starting to lose its luster. I think I probably should have done it like one difficulty down, because I'm doing it on like normal mode. Probably should have done it on easy with this permadeath setting, because one of the main reasons I wanted to do it, one, I've played these games so much that I wanted like a different challenge, but two, there's a trophy that I don't have. So,
Okay.
so I was like, I might as well try to get the trophy while I replay this game. But yeah, I think I might be done with that. We'll see. But yeah, I've been trying really hard to get back into my Switch ever since I got the OLED. Like, I've tried so many times to get into Metroid Dread, it just hasn't worked. And I've within the last week, I've gone through like 9 Switch games that I've previously had downloaded from old sales and
Sure.
stuff. But so yeah, I've tried the Scott Pilgrim the video game, which
Okay.
is good. It's just not what I want.
Sure.
I thought maybe I want to replay Ni no Kuni.
Mm,
I didn't. I got
yeah.
20 minutes in, and I was like, it's just I'm not drawn to this right now, even though it's one of my favorite games. Breath of the
Sure.
Wild, same thing.
Mm,
That one, of all the ones I'm about to say, this is the one that's having the biggest draw to me so far.
okay.
I just like continued on my original save, but I'm considering maybe starting a new save. But if you do that, it deletes all your progress. So I'm like, do I want to do that? But it's like, what am I
Mm,
gonna do with the full like game? So might do that. Mario Odyssey. Just I 3 minutes. I was like, no, I don't want this. The further I am removed from Odyssey, the less I like that game. Like, I still think it's really, really good, but I don't think it's my favorite Mario game. And for a while, I
sure.
thought it was. But it just because like Mario 64, I'll replay that game like at the drop of a hat. And I've never replayed Odyssey, and I just like anytime I go to play it again, it just doesn't have the same draw to
Yeah.
me. I
That's fair.
tried this game called Sky Children of Light,
Okay.
which is the developers of it's that game studio. It's the developers of Journey,
Okay.
and it was a game originally made for iPhone that they brought to Switch, and I just didn't like the vibe. I tried a game I'm sure you've played, the Lego Harry Potter collection.
I have indeed. Yeah.
Years 1 through 4 is what I started with. We watched that Harry Potter special on HBO Max, and I was like, this game is $8 on Switch. Why don't I give it a try?
There's a reason why.
Yeah,
It's
it's just not.
aged poorly.
Yeah, it is aged super poorly. Uh, I've never been a huge Lego guy, but that game specifically, I'm like, oh, this is of a
Yeah.
different time, my friend.
Very much. Yeah.
Um, and then, so yeah, I mean, all of those, and then also Fire Emblem Three Houses, I got on sale a couple months ago, and
Mhm.
the only reason I'm not jiving with that is because the main goal here is I want something while I'm watching TV,
Sure.
and Fire Emblem, I don't think is a game that I can play while I watch TV for the most part. Like, I think because there's a lot of story in the game,
Mhm.
and I think until I understand what the story is, and there's like more, I guess, like battle sequences, I don't think it's a game I can play while I watch TV. But yeah, I don't know. I'm in a rut. But all of that to say,
Okay.
Kamen, and I think this can be a segue as well. You dropped by my house today while I was working and
I did
dropped
indeed.
off your Christmas gift to me, which you revealed last week or the week before, I forget, which is Katamari Damacy. How do I say it?
Damachi.
Damachi?
Damachi. Yeah.
Damachi. Katamari Damachi. Uh, I have tried this game before. I think I played it on Xbox. And I told you, which is part of the reason you bought this game, I was like, it just doesn't feel like the game I want to be locked into my TV with.
Mhm.
And boy, was I right, because I've already put like 2 hours into this game on Switch. It's so
Fuck
fun. Like,
yeah.
it is perhaps objectively the weirdest game I've ever played in my life.
Oh, easily. Easily.
Like, the amount of just weird shit. Like, I was in one of the first levels, and I was going around with my is the ball the Katamari? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm rolling my Katamari around, and I'm like middle sized, and all of a sudden I see like a squirrel just like with I think it was like a lawnmower, just like a
Okay.
squirrel just like randomly mowing a
Yeah.
lawn,
Sounds about
I
right.
don't even think it was a lawn. I think it was just like on the street, and I'm
Yeah.
like, this is so fucking weird, and I love it. Gives me Hot Wheels vibes. It gives me Mario Kart, that one specific level in Mario Kart Deluxe where it's like you're in a room, like a kid's room, where like it just keeps getting bigger, and you realize like
Yeah.
you're in a much bigger space and you don't realize it. And
Yes.
it's really fun, like getting to that point where like I'm starting to overpower the map, and
Mhm.
now I'm realizing, oh wow, there's so much more here, that if I can get big fast, there's a lot still to see. So my big long diatribe of I can't figure out what I want to play. I might have figured out what I want to play, and I think it's Katamari. Thanks to
That's
you.
that like fills me with so much joy, mainly because Katamari is, like you said, one of the weirdest,
It's
most
so
strange
weird.
games that you could ever play. How this came into existence is beyond me,
Yeah.
but I'm enthralled by the fact that it is. I've played. I remember playing the original Katamari, which the
Hmm.
reroll edition, which you're playing now, originally released on PlayStation 2. I remember playing one on PlayStation 3. I
Okay.
remember playing. I remember playing one on an iPhone. And then there's the PS4 version, which I played both on PS4 and PS5. I can't get it up. And honestly, I think the biggest issue is the soundtrack is so fucking
It's
good,
so good.
but you can't find the soundtrack anywhere outside of the
Really?
game. There was apparently a very limited vinyl press of it.
Huh. Okay.
But you can't like now to try to purchase that vinyl, it's like $400,
Whoa.
which I'm not made of money. I'm
No.
like I said before, I'm attempting to try to do a wedding right now.
Right.
So that's like the last thing I can do is get a
Yeah.
$400 vinyl. But it'll be
Yeah. I mean
worth it one day when I
the
can.
one catch here is I want a game to play while I'm watching TV, but I just want to listen to the soundtrack because it's so
So
stinking
yeah,
good.
sounds
But
like it's fucking incredible. But yes, it is a perfect game though to play while, especially when you after you beat the game, because the game's not super long.
yeah,
But
that
after
makes
you
sense.
beat the game and you want to go back and you just want to like, because it is so addicting, like you
Yeah.
want to play it over and over and over again. Like it's a perfect game to play while just sitting on your
Yeah.
ass doing nothing.
Yeah. My only gripe with the game, but I think it's just because I'm not good at it yet, is the controls are really difficult. Like at times I'm like,
Yeah,
I know I want to do this, but it's like I'm not turning right and I'm not.
yeah.
But
No,
but
that's
yeah.
and that is one of those. It's just like the you have to catch up.
Yeah.
The good news is the early levels are very, very, very easy. The game's not
Cool.
difficult by any stretch, but it's very easy early on, and it really helps you get because you'll get to a point where, and no, obviously a little spoiler here, but you'll be able to pick up like islands at a
Oh
certain point.
wow. Yeah,
So by the time you get there, like the controls, like they become like ingrained. It's like riding a
cool.
bicycle. Once you get it figured out, then
That
you're
makes
off to the
sense.
races. Yeah.
Yeah, the last level that I played before we started recording, I picked up my first people. I got big
Yeah.
enough that I could pick up some people. Also, for those of you who might not know what this game is, you're hearing us talk about it, and you're like, "What the hell is this?" Essentially, and correct if I get anything wrong here because you're the expert. You play as this little elf little guy, and you have this giant ball in front of you, which is called a katamari. And you roll it around, and as you roll it around, you'll pick up things that are small enough for it to grab. And as you pick these things up, your ball gets bigger. So as it gets bigger, you can pick up bigger things, and that's basically the whole game.
Yeah. That's
And
it.
then there's just a bunch of weird shit along with it. Like there's a weird this guy that's talking to you, and
King
it's
of
just
Cosmos.
I don't
You play his son, the prince, and you're
right.
supposed to restore the cosmos. So the goal of the game is to collect enough debris around the Earth to create stars,
Sure.
and repopulate the universe with stars and constellations and planets. It's fantastic.
I've never had the guts I've never chosen to take psychedelic drugs because I'm afraid that I'll never come back. I'll just be in a constant state of psychedelicness and my whole life.
You could only wish that's how your life
Sure.
turned out.
I've always been scared of drugs. Dare really worked on me, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
this game seems like I should eat some mushrooms and play this game because it is weird as hell. But anyway, Kamen, before we jump in, a final quick thing, because I have talked about my Christmas present that you got me. I believe you have within your reach your Christmas present that I got you that you have unopened because you picked it up
Yes.
when you dropped by my house today.
I
I
did.
challenge you to open it on air. I do an unboxing. This is the Spotlight Games first official unboxing.
First official unboxing. All
But
right.
let me give you the one.
Okay. All right. So here we go. Big old bucket. Oh shit, yeah, bro. All right. Let's see here. What is this the
Ooh.
sacred symbols?
Ooh.
Is this the sacred symbols?
Ooh.
Oh, shit. Hold on. It's worth doing? It's worth doing. Let's do this. All right, headphones are coming off, guys.
Headphones are coming
Shirts
off, boys.
Headphones are coming off, shirts coming on. To everyone who's not watching the video, Patrick has gotten me a PlayStation Sacred Symbols, which are the square, triangle, X, and O hoodie, and I'm going to put it on so the rest of our viewers who are watching the podcast can look at this beautiful baby boy.
Yeah, give us a twirl once you have it on.
All right.
I should
Yeah, we
probably
got
fill
we
the
got
dead air
this. I
for
can
our
go
audio
once I'm
listeners.
not.
So he's his arms are in the holes. It's coming above the head. He's pushing it through like a good boy. Look at that. Fits like a glove.
Oh,
Look at
yeah.
that.
You know, I have to say, this not only feels fantastic,
Mm,
this looks
look at
fantastic
that.
as well. Look at that. Thank you, Patrick.
Hey, you're
Thank
welcome.
you, Patrick. And I'm so happy to be able to do this and wear this is such a beautiful thing. This is gonna be my new go-to sweatshirt. But
Hey,
I too am also I'm just happy that you are enjoying your Christmas present as well. And
tis the
let that
season.
tis the season. And with that being said, I feel like now is a perfect time to jump right into 2022 head first with some predictions.
Ooh, some
Ooh.
prediction.
And these are gonna get buck
Um,
fucking wild, guys,
they're
because
gonna get
I got some shit I
yeah,
want to get off my chest on things I think are happening.
they're gonna get buck wild. They're gonna get fuck wild. Kamen.
Oh, fuck wild. Yeah, that should be our
Um,
catchphrase. Getting
the
fuck
way
wild.
let's get fuck wild. The way I position mine is I
Mhm.
have a few realistic, some of them are still kind of unrealistic, and then some ones that I'm like, what is something just like kind of crazy that could happen? I don't expect to get a single point for those ones, but
Mhm.
um we, unlike what we typically do with these shows, we typically have a shared doc. This one, I specifically asked that we don't share with each other so that we can surprise each other with our predictions. So there might be some
Agreed.
crossover. So we'll have to go on the fly. So with that, Cayman, I would like to elect you go first. Share with us your first prediction. Choose whichever one on the list you'd like to. And
Okay.
then at some point, I'm going to pepper in. We have two from the audience as well. Two predictions from the
Beautiful.
audience.
Well, guys, unfortunately, I'm going to start off with a bit of a bummer, but
Oh.
there's a caveat. All right. And I think that our listeners at this point can fully understand. I am almost always wrong. So when I start off with my actually my first two are kind of bummers. When I start off with this bummer, I do want everyone to know that there's a very good chance that this is not going to happen at all, and we're safe. And
Mm.
2022 is going to be fantastic. But my first prediction is God of War Ragnarok will be delayed to 2023. And I just want
Ooh.
to say, I don't make the rules, folks. I just make the
Ooh.
predictions.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Hey,
this is a tough one.
I get that. You know, I almost put this as a prediction, but I didn't. I'm choosing optimism. I'm choosing belief. I'm choosing to trust in Santa Monica Studios, in Cory Barlog, in Charles Lanazard, Alana
Mm-hmm.
Pierce. I'm choosing these things, but I do have a prediction for this game as well. We both know that Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok are coming out this year, the two marquee PlayStation exclusives. Back when these both first came out, they're prequels, as it were. Horizon Zero Dawn, their Metacritic was an 89. God of War Ragnarok, or not, sorry, I'm sorry. God of War Metacritic was a 94. Game of the year all over the place. I'm sure Horizon won Game of the Year somewhere, but I am here today to say I predict when it's all said and done, when the dust settles, Horizon Forbidden West's Metacritic will be above God of War Ragnarok's Metacritic. I think Horizon Forbidden West will be a better sequel than God of War Ragnarok will be for their respective franchises.
That's bold as fuck, dude. Like
Here's why.
that's okay. Please tell me because
Here's
I'm
why. Because I
shaking in
have
my
this as a
boots.
realistic one, which this is one of the
Yeah.
ones where I think maybe isn't realistic. A lot of people say God of War 2018, right? 2018,
Mhm.
2019, 2018. God of War 2018 was one of the best games ever made. It's probably in my top 10, if not top 5. Horizon Zero Dawn, incredible game. Really loved it.
Sure.
One of my
Yeah.
favorite PlayStation games, but not in my top 10 probably.
Okay. Fair.
The bar for God of War Ragnarok is so high that if they don't
Okay.
exceed that bar, I think it could negatively impact scores. Like, and I don't think it's going to be in like the 80s. I'm sure it'll probably still be in the 90s, but I think there's just so much more to prove unless they do something to really shake it up and really give us a story that we are unexpecting, that we are not
Mhm.
expecting. Whereas Horizon Zero Dawn, I mean, really great first entry of a series, got a lot of comparisons. I would say, in some ways, rightly so, to Breath of the Wild because it came out the same year. And part of Breath of the Wild was so good that I feel like people kind of forgot how good Horizon Zero Dawn was.
Sure.
And I think if they nail it, if they hit a home run, like I expect they will, I think there is a lot less ground to make up for greatness.
Sure.
For a Horizon sequel than a God of War sequel. That's kind of my spiel there.
Look, I don't disagree with that statement. I think that that's a really good point. I would like to think though that reviewers are a little bit more conscientious of that, where it's not they're not going to hold any faults that might just be repeated scenarios for God of War, that they're going to hold them and be like, okay, well, but then again, I mean, that's technically, I guess that's how it goes. You would
right.
assume a game would continue to build off, but if you have a game that's like God of War, which is in a lot of people's instances, a 10 out of 10 game,
right,
building off of that might be very difficult to do. I'm hoping in reality is that if they can just give me a game that's enjoyable as much as enjoyable as the original God of War, then we'll be fine.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, what I'm saying is these are both going to be amazing games. One might just be a little better, and so there isn't losing with this bet. There's just I might get a point or not.
Okay, well, that's safe. That's you went safe off the bat, which
is a little safe, a little safe.
All right, so and like these are in no particular order. The next one I have is another bummer, and I'm sorry to tell everyone this, but the console shortages will continue throughout 2022 into 2023.
Yeah, I would agree with that one.
With the fact that like we're running into an issue right now where I think with COVID, and we've talked about this before, it's backlogged so many things, and with production especially, and these aren't these aren't easy to make microchips to make these consoles.
Right.
You've got three major companies who are trying to produce, on top of the fact that you also have like the RTX 3030, I think is the latest chip for GPU. You're also doing that. Those are getting bought up left and right. The chips are getting bought out by people who are just trying to build their own specs to be able to do crypto mining.
Right, which is
and then on top of that, you also have car manufacturers who are using similar microchips as well.
Right.
It's just I don't think right now there's enough resources to be able to maintain to get us back. I do think we won't talk about it nearly as much, mainly because I think that the market right now is getting slowly but surely getting saturated enough where I think people are going to be able, who are really looking to get a console, they're going to be able to get one. It'll just be like it's been, where you're going to have to wait on Twitter for days on end waiting for that one announcement. I don't think that you're going to be able to walk into a Target and be able to pick up anything. The one console you might be able to pull that off on, it might be a Nintendo Switch. I doubt the OLEDs are going to be easy to be able to pick up, but I don't foresee that we're going to have as accessible as you would hope at this point in the cycle. I just don't foresee that for this year. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I think so too, which is a bummer.
It is a bummer. I'm sorry to have to start off.
Yeah. But hey, someone
don't worry, my list gets worse. So,
okay, my next one, I spoke a little bit about this game earlier, Super Mario Odyssey. I am predicting that the studio behind Super Mario Odyssey, I forget their name, they will announce their next title this year.
Okay.
It will be a new 3D Mario game. It will not be an Odyssey sequel. It'll have a new gimmick. It'll have a new mechanic. It's not going to be the hat throwing. And it will release in 2022.
Okay. So the developer is Nintendo EPD.
Okay.
And they're kind of one of the main developers. They do pretty much all of the stuff.
Because I mean, it's
very open like that. Like they have a majority of their games are all being developed under the same developer, just different
gotcha.
teams.
Yeah.
That was actually, I was talking to Cindy, my fiance, in the car today. We on the way actually to your house to drop off your present, and I was like, was going over my list, and she's like, you don't have many Nintendo predictions, and I was like, well,
Yeah.
it's always incredibly tough to do a prediction for Nintendo or guess because they are so closed off. It's
Mm-hmm.
like very different than the rest of the games industry where you just don't get many leaks from Nintendo. And when you do get leaks, a lot of times they're completely off basis or they're so
Right.
vague that it could go either way. But with that being said, I have a Nintendo prediction that I want to follow up on yours because I
Can
disagree with
I
you.
can I
Sure,
really
sure,
quickly
sure.
say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was listening to a podcast yesterday or today.
Okay.
I forget. Time is a made up contract. GameScoop, IGN GameScoop, posted by Damon Hatfield, and they were talking about how in Japan, in Nintendo specifically, one of the reasons that we haven't seen a lot of like new stuff out of Nintendo, I think this is part speculation based on this fact, which is
Mhm.
at the beginning of the pandemic, it was really hard for Nintendo to switch to a work from home model because apparently the dev kits that you build Nintendo games on, like Switch games on, are like metaphorically maybe or physically like bolted to their desks. Like they can't take them home. So they had to part of this is so that like things don't get leaked.
Sure.
So they had to like completely come up with this new process on how to work from home. So which is part of like I have one other Nintendo prediction as well, which I think could be wrong. But so yeah, it's just interesting like that I didn't know that was a thing, and that it makes sense why we haven't heard much about like Odyssey or Breath of the Wild or
Yeah.
any of those. But anyway, what's your next prediction?
So my prediction: Mario Strikers,
Mm,
subtitle pending, will be announced
oh,
and released in 2022.
Kamen, please.
Okay, so here's my thought process, and I want to explain this.
Please.
So my thought process is, and I did
Yes.
some research. So this year we got, or not this year,
Listen
2021,
to him.
we got Mario
Listen to
Golf.
him. And I did some research.
Year before, we got Mario Tennis.
Okay.
Launch of the Switch, we got Odyssey, Breath of the Wild. Sure, we're still getting our Mario parties. We're getting those, which is normal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We haven't gotten since the Wii U. We have not gotten a new Mario Kart. However, I don't foresee Nintendo dropping a new Mario Kart at the end of this life cycle.
Sure.
I think this would be whatever is the predecessor to the Switch. I think we'll see the new Mario Party or new Mario Kart there. But I
Yeah.
also think because Nintendo historically, outside of one instance was able to pull up, which was on the Wii, we haven't gotten a flagship Mario title on since the Nintendo 64. We haven't gotten two of them on the same console. The only
Interesting.
time it's ever happened was on the Wii when we got Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2. With that being
Interesting.
said, though, we haven't had a Strikers game since the Wii. And then there was a 3DS game that came out after. So there's a little buffer there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think now is the perfect time for them to drop a Strikers. It's
That would be
presumably,
awesome.
yeah. I mean, I think the market, anytime a Mario game gets released, unless it's like Mario and Sonic at the Olympics, people
Right.
get excited, right?
Yeah.
I think now is the perfect time. If they don't have a new like flagship Mario game in the bucket right now, ready to drop like you predicted they will. If they don't, then I foresee Mario Strikers being the one that does get announced.
I envision a world, it's cloudy. The vision is not fully
Okay,
formed, but I envision a
tell me.
world in which both of these things happen.
Oh my god.
Because I don't think the Switch is close to being done. Like
No.
I think the Switch has at least 3 to 4 more years in its life cycle. I could be wrong, but with what they've been able to do, especially if they end up releasing a Switch Pro, I just don't see the point in re-releasing another console, or not re-releasing, but releasing another console. And so with that logic, if that, then I don't think you can wait another 3 or 4 years for another flagship Mario.
Mm.
So, but yeah, that's interesting.
Well,
That's interesting.
I've got another prediction coming up that kind of falls into this. So why don't you go ahead and give us your next prediction and before I drop the hammer.
So to keep it with Nintendo, this is another Nintendo one for mine. I don't have a ton of Nintendo. I think this might be my last Nintendo. The Breath of the Wild sequel, currently untitled, will be the focus of a Nintendo Direct by mid-year. They will announce that it has a fall release date. In the fall, they will announce it is being pushed to 2023.
Okay.
This is one that I hope not across the board, but I hope the last part of my prediction. Well, actually, I would hope that there's been some scuttlebutt on the internet that it might come out Q1 of this year, that it might be like a. And I was like, "Fuck you, you're crazy."
Yeah, I don't see that.
I think at the absolute earliest, this is like end of summer game. But yeah, we don't even know the name. Like the last time we saw it, it was sometime. Was it last year? Was it 2021 that we saw the like? Yeah, I think it was at some point. I forget what it was for though. The trailer where people were kind of saying, "Oh, are we going to play as Zelda or whatever?"
Yeah.
Or not play as Zelda. People were saying we might play as Ganon in this. I was like,
Mm,
no, that's not going to happen.
yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is delayed, which would also, I think, help my first prediction or second prediction of whatever the next Mario game coming this year is. It would make sense that we'd have that big of a title without
Yeah.
Zelda.
Yeah, I think that's a smart move. I think it being delayed, I honestly I can't remember. Nin, like Nintendo is fairly good about not giving release dates unless they're 100% sure it's going to release
Yeah,
on that day. And so I don't know it, like that makes sense. That I don't know if we'll get a it's coming this year, but I definitely agree with the first part
yeah,
of that statement where I do think they're going to show something. I think we'll get like a gameplay trailer, something
yeah.
big, like a full direct on it would be
Hmm.
plausible. Might not get the announcement that it comes this year, but I do think 2023 is probably more
Yeah.
likely.
The why behind why I think they will announce it for this year and then still delay it is because we've been waiting for so long. And they had like that first trailer when they first showed it off, like the first teaser, they made it sound like it was going to come last year. And then last year they were like, we still don't have a date for it, but they were obviously saying like it's not coming this year. So they've already like kind of talked about a potential release window,
Sure.
and they already missed that. So I think people just really want it and they really want to deliver it, but I think they will only release it when it is like truly ready because it
Yeah,
is following up one of the greatest games ever made. So
sure.
it's
Sure.
really got to deliver when you're following that up.
I agree.
What's your next
I
one?
agree. So my next one is my last Nintendo prediction as well. This is Nintendo will deflect any questions about a rumored Switch Pro and will continue to sell both the standard Switch and OLED at their respective prices.
Okay,
I
so all year. So there's not going to be a single announcement of a new Switch SKU.
Yep,
Got it. Okay.
100%. Yeah, I don't look. I don't. I
I agree.
think I believe 100% deep down inside, and it would be stupid not to believe that they have a successor to the Switch already being developed.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But I don't foresee with the success that they've had selling the Switch and the SWOLED so far,
Mhm.
like I don't foresee in any world that they stop doing that
I
to
agree.
try to release some console. Because why like because here's my thing is we're what 2 years into the 2 years into now into the PS5 Xbox Series X. We're very much young
Mhm.
into that. It doesn't make sense for them because it's still selling like hotcakes and it's still selling
Yeah.
incredibly well. If there was like people going, hey, look, I'm tired of the Switch because it's not hitting certain like technical aspects and we need something different. Like the Wii U's lifespan was incredibly short because the Wii U sucked ass, right? I'm sorry. I had a
Got him.
Wii U. I paid for one. I had
I
it. I
never
owned
did.
a Wii U and it was awful. Okay. But the thing is with the Switch is it's the complete opposite.
Right.
It's like hit there. So I think a Switch Pro would be a logical step. Because if it is more, but I don't think this year, especially just because they just released the SWOLED, I don't think that they're going to come out and say, "Hey, look, we have a new console." Because at that point, why would you announce the SWOLED, start selling that if people are going to immediately back off of trying to get the better model? Because you're just going to want to wait, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I would wait till you're at least a year or two into the SWOLED and let people who want to do the upgrade do it, or people haven't got a Switch before and they decide to go with that one. Saturate the market as much as you can. And then once you've already cleaned house, then before PlayStation and Xbox announce their next console, that's when I would step in if I was Nintendo and do that then. But not right now, not this year. Not
That
gonna happen.
same reasoning is why I didn't predict a new Mario Kart. Like, it's just, even though we're still playing a re-release of the Wii U version, it's still like always in the top 10. And like, if people are buying it and people are happy with it, I'm sure they'll launch the next Switch with the next Mario Kart. But
I mean, I personally didn't, and that might be different. You might have it. I don't know. But I opted not to predict Grand Theft Auto 6 being announced for
oh,
the
I'll
exact
stop
same
you
reason.
there. I'll stop you
Okay, hit
there.
me.
My next prediction: GTA 6 will be announced this year. It will be centered. It'll be centered around an entirely new character, and this is, I think, the buck wild part. It will be set in a completely new city, so it won't be Liberty City, Vice City, or Los Santos, San Andreas, because they've always done one of those three places, other than OG Grand Theft Auto over Top View in London. I think it'll be an entirely new, which is part of the reason I think why it has taken so long to do, but also because GTA 5 is still one of the best selling games, like month over month. But I think it is time. I don't expect that we will see it until like the Game Awards, because they're re-releasing GTA 5 again on the new gen consoles within the next couple months. So they'll leave room for that to breathe. But I think by the end of the year, they will show us GTA 6.
I don't believe it at all. I'm sorry, Pat.
I mean, honestly, I kind of don't believe it at all either. I just want it to be true.
Look, you're selling GTA 5 still is like in the top 10, if not top 5, if not number 1 every
Right.
single month.
For sure.
GTA Online is making oodles upon oodles of money.
Oodles and
To
boodles.
announce GTA 6 is fine.
But then they
But
will just start making that money again.
No, that's fair. I think
But there's still money to
look,
be made with the current one.
Yeah, and if I'm Rockstar, which obviously I'm not, so this is all speculative, and I'm talking completely out of my ass right now.
You're not Rockstar?
Which is normal. They wish they were me.
Hey,
fuck wild. Call back.
We're almost at the fuck wild predictions.
If I'm Rockstar, I come in and I say, okay, we have to continue GTA Online as a completely separate entity that is not affected in the slightest by GTA 6. It has to become it has to break away. And I think that before we get a GTA 6 reveal, we will get a reveal that GTA Online is its own entity and will continue to function and run as its own separate identity outside of the first person narrative games.
I wonder though if those things can happen simultaneously.
They could.
Like if they're like GTA 6 is coming out and it's going to like GTA Online will be there. It's just going to be the same GTA Online. Like all of your progress is going to carry over. Your character will still be there. Although then my prediction where it's in a new location doesn't work anymore because that's in the California one. But anyway,
see, and that's what I think. Like if you could do like an expansion to GTA Online, which that expansion is going to a different location, doing something different, and then announce later, hey, look, you can go to Vice City in GTA Online. You can go to San Andreas. You can go to wherever the fuck, Liberty City.
Yeah.
Like you can go to those locations in GTA Online. It'll be like a portal, right, where you can populate yourself in. But I really do think because GTA Online is so successful to a degree that I don't think we've ever seen in the industry.
Oh yeah, no way.
Like you really have to be doing something there to make that work by not being like, hey, look, we're gonna start a brand new one up. It's got to be somehow connected.
I wonder because like GTA is still in the NPD charts of like last month. One of the best selling games was GTA 5. I wonder like for the last 12 months if there is data that shows the majority of people buy the game only for online and like they're not touching the single player. I wonder if that's like if they're just effectively buying GTA Online or if that's just I don't know. I'd be curious to see that data if it's out there somewhere.
Good question.
So I think it's your turn.
Okay. My next one is going to be PSVR 2 launches fall of 2022.
Okay. We had one from the audience. It was from Nick. We had two from the audience, but one of them from the audience was Nick says we hear more or get PSVR 2 and NFTs. I'm looking at you, Square Enix, you naughty boys.
Just wait,
Which,
I've got some
yeah,
NFT
yeah.
predictions
But
as well.
but I did want to say just pepper
Yes.
in there. But
Nick is on point with that comment. PSVR 2 will 100% be announced in full with a release date. I'm putting my money down on fall. That makes more sense. Just get ready for holiday season. Try to sell some bulk, but no, I don't. there's not a world in which I see this coming out any later than this year.
I considered making that prediction as well, but then it got me thinking.
Okay.
Ooh, I might sneeze. I'm going to try to avoid it. And if I will mute myself.
No, right on the mic. Get all in like juicy. And...
do you think that they will, because PSVR 2, I guess this is a multi-layered question. Do you think PSVR 2 would work on PS4? And then part B of the question is, if it's not, if it's only for PS5, do you think they would launch a peripheral when they can't even deliver the console itself right now?
I guess the question in that situation is the technical aspects behind it, like what's going into the
Right.
production.
Does it need the chips? Does it need
Yeah.
There's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of variables there.
To answer the first part of the question, do I think it will work on PlayStation 4? And
I don't think it can.
I don't think it can either.
Yeah.
I don't think it will. I don't think it can.
Yeah.
I think that if they were to release a model that was wireless, then yes. I think PlayStation 4 would get that model. With this being a wired connection like the original PlayStation VR is, I don't think so. I think it's going to be built specifically with the PlayStation 5 in mind. And we got to think like PlayStation VR wasn't this like gangbuster. It wasn't selling like console selling, right?
Yeah.
You can still find PlayStation VR online right now, and you can still buy it. So it's not like it's very difficult to get your hands on, or it's a hot commodity like that. So I don't think, and Sony will probably get bad press for it by being like, why the fuck are you releasing this when you can't release a console? But I don't think Sony gives a shit about that.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, they're specifically trying to make money. They're trying to expand their foothold in the market.
Yeah.
With the rise and the dominance of the Quest series, both Quest and Quest 2.
Yeah.
Sony needs to get back in, or PlayStation VR will be irrelevant.
Sure.
It just will.
Shit or get off the pot.
Exactly.
My next one is one of my few bummers, if not my last and only bummer.
You know, I like bummers. I'm a bummer guy. You know?
Yeah, I know. That's why you like me so much, because I got a big old bum.
Whoa, big old bummer.
I am of the opinion, Kamen, that CD Projekt Red will officially cancel its next-gen version of Cyberpunk 2077 and will publicly shift their studio focus to the next Witcher title.
1000%. Did not put that down as a prediction because I just don't want that to happen. But you
right,
are
I don't either, because I have the PS4 version. You sent me a deal that was like $10, and I'm like, I'm just waiting for the PS5 version because I want to love this game, and I know how riddled with bugs it is. Although I've heard that like now it's definitely a lot more playable, but
100%.
it's still, to my understanding, it is still not the product that they said it was going to be. And so I want that, but I don't think it's going to happen. And I think, especially with the success of the Witcher TV show, which I've been watching season 2 of, which is very good.
Yeah.
I think gamers want more Witcher. And I think Cyberpunk has just been a mess from day one. And I think it would be best for them to say, you know what? We fucked it up. The game we have now, we're as proud of as we're ever going to be. Let's go back to what we're good at, which is The Witcher.
Cyberpunk is dead.
Yeah. So I think Cyberpunk is dead.
That franchise for the next decade is dead.
Yeah.
Because of CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
And
which is
that's a huge bummer, because the truth of the matter is playing the game now. Sure, it's not what they said it was going to be, and there are still some issues with it, but the game is really fucking good.
Yeah. I might just do it. Like, I might just go ahead and play it.
Look, if you're going to, you've pissed around and dilly-dallied about fucking playing Yakuza Like a Dragon, so I don't expect you to ever play Cyberpunk.
Wow.
The fact that you're playing
Kamen.
I want to hope that you don't hate me, but there's still a lot of suspect there that you might indeed just
you're not
not
wrong.
value me as a human being.
What's your name again?
Yeah.
What's your next one, Jim?
My next one. Here's my wild. Are you ready for a
Ooh.
wild one? I'm
Is
coming out
this
with
is this are you shifting to the rest of yours are going to be wild, or this is just
You
you're
know what?
peppering it
Okay,
in a
good
wild?
good call. I'm gonna save that one
Okay.
for. I'm gonna just do another bummer real quick because I think this is
Okay.
the last bummer one I have. NFTs will make a huge play in gaming and will lead to a congressional showdown between
Yeah.
developers and Congress over the legality of loot box NFT
Mm.
hybrid game mechanics. I know that's
Interesting.
a mouthful, but here's
Hey,
the
we
issue.
love a mouthful
Okay,
here.
I will never attempt to try to explain blockchain or NFTs to anyone because they make no fucking sense and they're
Yeah,
dumb as hell.
we need to bring Lucas on because I bet he's all about
Oh,
NFTs, isn't
Lucas
he?
fucking Every just knows. He's got so many of those bored apes hanging up. He uses Facebook portal
He's got some
actually, and it's
Elon
just
NFTs, I'm
that's
sure.
all it is. He's got fucking iPads instead of actual paintings up
Yep.
because you can't get an NFT that's not
Mm.
digital. Fuck this shit. What I'm
Damn.
saying is, and
Got
here's the
him.
problem: is one, we already know that Congress has been looking into loot boxes, and they've been very vocal about the fact that that's starting to tread into gambling territory.
Yeah.
But you can't resell and there's no actual monetary value to items inside of a game. Once
Right.
you introduce NFTs, now you've introduced monetary value to an item. Okay.
Sure.
With that being said, now that is gambling because you're paying hard earned money for an
Oh.
item that you have legal ownership of. If
Mm.
you have legal ownership of the item inside of a game or elsewhere, and you are basically just like throwing money like a pachinko machine and being like, I'm hoping one day to get this. Now we start to tread into actual gambling territory. And I can promise you right now that the federal government will not have that if they're not getting a chunk of change from it.
Well,
It's just
I
not gonna happen.
wonder, not even because it's gambling. 'Cause I don't even know if that makes it gambling, but it is now, you are now profiting. And if you're profiting, then yes, the government's going to want their tax.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a really good point. I hadn't even
Now,
considered it from that
the
perspective.
the one part of this that gives me a little bit of hope that we won't see it in 2022 is that it takes forever for our government to do anything.
Right.
So this will probably happen in 2023, but I feel like the seeds will be
Sure.
planted enough that the conversation will start to happen that
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is not okay, and they don't want this to continue without they're getting their piece of the pie.
Yeah.
So I do expect if we will hear if it is implemented, which I predict it will, because I don't think that there's a world now where we don't see it. That it will end up in congressional hearings. We'll have
My
congressional
hope
hearings over this. Yeah.
My hope is that it crashes and burns with the Square Enix and the Ubisoft NFTs, that everyone is like, "Ugh, I don't want to touch it." That's my
Yeah.
I hope and I pray, because
The
I don't want NFTs to be something that we just have to keep talking about because we have a video game podcast and we talk about the news, because I just fucking hate NFTs. I think they're garbage and bullshit and such a waste
the
of my breath.
the problem is there's so many fucking dingleberries out there that are just like
Yeah.
getting all hot and bothered over the fact that they can have a digital picture of a fucking monkey smoking a cigarette. Like, you be that monkey. You
Yeah.
step outside and
Be
you
the
smoke a
monkey.
cigarette like a real person, not some
I
digital creature doing it. You
I had
fucking
a
idiot.
I had a few like extra predictions in case like we cancel one of our things out, and one of mine was just NFTs will ruin video games.
That's
Okay.
probably fair too.
My next
All right,
one,
what's
this is
next?
my
Yeah.
last realistic prediction. And then all of these after will be fuck wild, buck wild predictions. Naughty Dog, Kamen,
Okay.
will officially reveal their next single player project. It is a complete rebuild from the ground up remake of The Last of Us Part 1. It will be packaged with The Last of Us factions.
Give it to me, baby.
Yeah.
Just pump that shit directly in my veins. Right.
We were talking about this the other night. We were texting about factions and then their next single player game, and whether it would be a new IP or whether it would be Last of Us spinoff or whatever. And I was thinking about it today as I was doing this. And I was like, I remembered there were rumors about this other studio that was making The Last of Us Part 1, like a remake. And there was like a team of Naughty Dog people that were there as like, just to make sure things were going right. And I believe the rumor said it wasn't going well, so Naughty Dog absorbed it. And now Naughty Dog is producing this remake of The Last of Us. So I expect that to be their next single player game that they release. And there have been so many rumors about The Last of Us Factions that it would make sense that them making Factions and a remake, which is Factions is where it originally released, was with the original game. It just makes sense that those two things would be one big package. So that's my last realistic prediction.
I think that's a brilliant idea. And let me tell you why I think it's a brilliant idea. And it's because I'm worried that Factions is going to come out a little too late.
Yeah.
To be able to ride the coattails of The Last of Us Part 2 and get people hyped for being like, hey, we got a multiplayer experience now.
Yeah.
I know that our game released 2 years ago, but we got one now. I don't think, but if you can bundle it with a remaster of the first game, that is not just a PS3 remaster, but a legitimate
rebuild. And then like because
the hype there is unreal.
Because the HBO, Gatorade get hype moment. The HBO show comes out this year. So it also, from a marketing standpoint, there's going to be millions of people who have never played a Last of Us game that watch this show. Ideally, it's done well. They fall in love with these characters. They fall in love with this world, and they want to play the game. And now there's a shiny brand new remake of it that they can go play. They don't have to play the PS4 remaster, which also still, before I jumped into part 2, I replayed part 1 and it still holds up really well. But there are parts that have aged, and a remake would definitely be awesome. Like I'm ready for it, and I really hope it's there. What's your next one, Kamen?
My next one. All right. Okay. So the next one's going to be Unreal Engine 5 will be the next evolutionary step in gaming and will usher in the next true next gen gaming moment. I think we've seen with the Matrix Awakens, the technology behind it is incredibly fascinating, and it's shaping up to be like, this is a legitimate step forward for gaming.
Yeah.
I think, we've talked at length on that, but I think this year is the year that we start to see games implementing Unreal Engine 5, and we'll start to have our first wave of those, and that first wave is going to blow people's minds. But that's just exactly what I think, Patrick.
I agree. So you ended your statement right as I muted myself to take a sip of water. It was bad timing. I think that could potentially be a safe one, but we'll see. All right. We are now officially going into the Buckwild portion of my predictions.
All right, hit me.
This is the least of the Buckwild, but this is more because it's not going to happen. But I think my next 3 are like almost certainly not going to happen. But this one, my first Fuckwild prediction of 2022 on the Spotlight Games podcast is Elden Ring will be the game that brings Kamen into the Dark Souls franchise. The Souls type games. I think you're going to like this game, and I think it's going to make you, because I know like you already are not in on it. Like you're not vibing with it. You're not feeling it. I think they're going to win you over. I think they're going to pull you in, and I think you're going to love it.
Okay, let me say this. I'm going to tell the audience this. Elden Ring releases in... Oh, no, you can listen, please.
Okay, I can listen
to. For the audience, Elden Ring releases in February of this year. It comes out around the same time as for Horizon Forbidden West, which we all know I'm very excited about. I'm not excited about Elden Ring because I'm terrible at video games, and they make me feel bad inside when I have to do that. With that being said, if an audience member brings forth a copy of Elden Ring, I will play it till it's finished.
What if a co-host brings a copy of Elden Ring?
Okay, you know what? We'll open it up the floor to the co-host as well. I will not, after fucking Far Cry 6. I will not subject myself to any monetary torture like that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm going to buy it physical so that you can borrow it and play it. But okay. I have this feeling it's deep within me. It's somewhere that I probably shouldn't say on the podcast. I just think this is going to be a Kamen game. I think it's going to surprise you. And I think because here's my thought process.
Okay. Tell me.
The Souls franchise, not universally, widely loved, very successful, millions of copies sold with it, whether it's Demon Souls, Dark Souls, or Bloodborne or Sekiro. They're still really inaccessible because of how hard they are. I expect this game to still be hard, but George R.R. Martin is involved. And they're pushing that, and I think they're trying to open it up to a wider audience with George Martin being on the writing, like the creative team of it. So these jabronis watching Game of Thrones that don't really play video games outside of Call of Duty, which is fine. I'm not here to shame. They might want to play this game because, oh, the Game of Thrones guy did it. And it could be like a bad PR move to release a game that is just so fucking hard that these people who don't like this game are going to buy it and then hate it and talk about how they don't like it publicly. It's a bit of a stretch, but that's what I feel. That's what I think. And I think you're going to like it.
You know what? Okay. I'll even go even a step further. Because I don't want this to be a situation where Patrick is like, where you're like, I'm going to buy it and I'll play it. And then when I'm done, I'll pass it to you. Now you are obligated to play and finish this game because you said it on the podcast. I'll sweeten the pot.
Okay. Sweeten
if an audience member wants to torture me this badly by making me do this, I will also videotape my playthrough. I don't know if I'll be able to figure out how to stream because I'm an idiot when it comes to technology, but I will do video clips of just my reaction as I just beat my head against a brick wall. Now, I'm leaving it up to you guys. Look, we've put up to Twitter polls. I've platinumed games based on what our Twitter folks think. So you guys, look, we've got a community. You guys can band together and force me to do something horrible to my health.
Oh, we sure can.
So.
Oh, we sure can.
I hate it.
What's your next?
That's terrible. All right. I've got a uckwild prediction here. So, Xbox fans, get yourself ready for a Gatorade hype moment because you're going to have a coin flip this year.
Uh-oh.
Microsoft is going to acquire yet another mega studio. The coin flip that you get, Ubisoft or Activision?
No way. Not a chance in hell. Not a chance in hell.
Look, we already know that Microsoft is trying to acquire another huge studio. We do know this, okay? And it's already been rumored that Ubisoft his name has dropped, and I don't think Ubisoft will do that. I don't think Ubisoft is going to be. But I will say, with the current controversy surrounding Activision Blizzard, Bobby Kotick, and how horrible they treat their employees, it almost makes sense at this point to let them be bought out by a company and basically saying, hey, we're going to give the reins over to this company who does games, who develops, who makes consoles. We're going to let them take over and try to build a better culture for everything, basically to try to distance themselves from all the shit that's happened this year.
Okay, that interests me, but I want to peel it apart a little bit.
Okay, peel that onion, Pat.
Peel the onion. So Xbox spends $7.9 billion on ZeniMax, the company that owns Bethesda, for games like Elder Scrolls, Fallout, what else? Upcoming Starfield, like some of the biggest franchises in video games. There is no franchise bigger than Call of Duty, except perhaps Grand Theft Auto when it comes to sales. Actually, I mean, objectively, Grand Theft Auto is the highest selling game of all time. But you don't get much bigger than Call of Duty. So the price tag of that would have to be $10+ billion, right? Because if you're buying Activision, you're also buying Blizzard. So you're buying Overwatch. You're buying so it's got to be well above $10 billion.
Okay, hear me out.
Hold on. I'll be quick.
Oh, you're fine.
You spend $10 billion. You're not going to keep, you're not going to let PlayStation and PC. Well, you're going to let PC. You're not going to let PlayStation have Call of Duty games. If you spend $10 billion, you're not going to let Call of Duty be on PlayStation. And I just don't see a world in which I see a world in which Elder Scrolls is kept from PlayStation. I don't see a world in which Call of Duty is. Go forth, Kamen.
You're absolutely right. Call of Duty will not be, but that's part of the plan. Because I don't think Xbox plans on, and I've said this before, and sure, Starfield might be its own thing, but I am really starting to feel like as we're inching closer to some of these releases and these games and stuff, I think Xbox is going to start publishing games that are going to be appearing on PlayStation and on Switch or whatever Nintendo, pops out next. I think they will.
Maybe.
And I think because of that, this is a great opportunity for them to be able to dump a ton of money right now because they've got it. Yeah. They can dump a ton of money and immediately make a profit because unlike Bethesda and those, you would release one game a year, probably one game a year, 2 games a year, maybe, on a good year from
Yeah.
those studios. But with Activision, you're releasing a game every single year. That's a way to be able to recoup that money that you're
Yeah.
not making elsewhere, which you need to be making. And you can release them on Game Pass, but you can also make money off of releasing them full priced on other consoles and other systems. And you can make a fuck ton of money that way.
Maybe. Maybe.
That's a wild. Look, Buck
Hey, it's
Wild.
Buck Wild. Hey, it's Buck
It's
Wild.
Buck Wild.
Yeah.
It's Buck Wild.
I don't think it's impossible, but we'll see. Okay, my next one, I'll keep it with Bethesda because you just did a Bethesda, or not Bethesda, you did an Xbox one. I think Bethesda will tease the next Fallout title. It won't be more than like a 20-second teaser, likely just a logo, but they're going to say they're working on it, even though they haven't even shown us a second of Elder Scrolls 6 outside of the thing. But I think the reason that this is also actually, now that I've put this out into the universe and I've heard it, it's not as buck wild as I thought maybe it was when I wrote it, but Starfield's coming out this year, and then like they've said after that is Elder Scrolls. So it'd be silly for them to also say we're working on Fallout, but with how big they are, I think it would make sense for them to also be working on Fallout.
Yeah, no, I think them announcing Fallout this year is totally plausible. Maybe not a buck wild moment,
Yeah,
but
no, it's not buck
but
wild.
that's fine. You know what? We have our misses. My
These
my
the
next
next two
one
though.
my next two, one of them is a little buck wild, and it's going to be a real out there.
Oh yeah.
But my next one up is not. This is way more realistic and way more probable, but it's something to chew on. Sony's competitor to Microsoft's Game Pass will launch in the spring, but will be a messy affair of ranging price options and confusing implementation, and will piss off a lot of people.
Yeah, I fully agree, stem to stern, with that prediction.
Yeah, I know we really haven't talked much about. I don't think we've really
Yeah,
even broached the
no, we
subject
know
of Project Scarlet, but basic rundown
Spartacus.
for Spartacus. Sorry, Project Spartacus is rumored to be Sony's answer to Microsoft's Game Pass. The rumor is it'll be bundled in different tiers with PlayStation Plus. You'll still be getting your monthly games as normal, but you will be getting access to a whole library. It looks like PlayStation Now will be essentially be what it is. You'll just have access through um, you'll have access through your normal PlayStation Plus subscription. However, they have said part of the leak or rumor is that there's going to be tiers where like one tier you're going to have access to PlayStation 5, 4, 3 and 2 and 1 all the way to PlayStation 1 games will be included, and then there'll be another tier where it's just PlayStation 5, 4, 3, and then another that will just be PlayStation 5, I think.
It's already a mess, and it's not
It's
even
so
been officially
just
revealed.
the rumor is confusing as shit. Do I think it's going to happen? 100%. Do I think it's going to happen in spring? 100%. Do I think it's going to be a giant disaster and it's going to take months, if not a full year, for them to work out all the wrinkles? Absolutely. Sony is behind the 8 ball, and I feel like that they will try to rush this to try to be able to try to catch up as quick as possible. They're going to pull like a DC move on this, and they're going to be like, well, shit, Microsoft's already got the Avengers. Let's just jump straight into the Justice League. Like, I don't think it's going to work the way that they expect it to. And I hope I'm wrong, but you know, Sony has proved that they can fuck things up tremendously. So,
yeah, I hope that that's wrong, but I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a mess. But okay, my penultimate Buckwild prediction, inspired by The Last of Us Part 2, God of War Ragnarok. Actually, let me pause. For those of you who don't know, God of War Ragnarok, sequel to 2018's God of War, they have teased in the trailer that, and at the end of the game, end of God of War, they teased that this game will be like the event of Ragnarok, which is like the end of the world, basically. And Thor will play a very big part. They've revealed what Thor looks like. I don't know that we saw him in action in the trailer, but we saw like art of him. But okay, so that preface, in God of War Ragnarok, when we actually get to play the game, they're not going to tease this in marketing materials. A la The Last of Us Part 2, we will play a significant portion of the campaign as Thor.
Oh, damn.
I don't know what else there is to say.
I don't know what to say. I hope that's
If
real or right,
if
or your
if
prediction is
this
true.
if this Buckwild Fuckwild prediction is true, I think my original prediction will be false because I think they need something crazy like this to like break expectations of this game and really take it to the next level. They need something like there's a lot of people that are like, oh, we're probably going to play as Atreus, which I think is probably
Mm-hmm.
uh more likely than playing as Thor. But it could be cool. It'd be like totally unexpected. I think I was really annoyed. This was a prediction that I listened to PS I Love You and they talked about this specific thing as a potential. I was like, you bastards. This was my prediction. But yeah, that's almost certainly not going to happen, but it could.
I like the idea of it. I do. I think that your initial comment that playing as Atreus is almost a given. I think.
Yeah, I think that's very likely to happen. And if that
Um,
doesn't happen, hey, maybe we'll play as Thor.
would
I do want to
you?
sprinkle in, unless is there
Okay.
something else you want to say on that
Oh,
one?
I was just gonna ask. Do you
Yes, please.
think that this is the last game Kratos will be in?
Yes, I think it is time to move on from Kratos. As much
Okay.
as I like, especially the new version of the character, I think. Um, I'm willing to bet Sony Santa Monica, unless they have another story they want to tell, I bet they're kind of tired of Kratos. Like in a way, like I'm sure they want something new. Like I bet this is the last God of War game they make for a while,
Probably. Yeah.
um, but yeah. So we had one other prediction from the audience. This is from Jade Suits. When I said I put a thing on Instagram, I said, "What are some 2022 predictions that you think will happen for video games?" And Jade Suits simply responded, "Resident Evil 3 remake." Our listeners who listen to every show might remember when I asked the question, "What game are you looking forward to playing?" Jade Suits also said Resident Evil 3 remake. If Jade, if you're listening, if your name is Jade, Jade Suits, if you're listening, this game came out. You can play it right now,
You
March
can.
2020. You can play this game. It's a good game. Go play it. Maybe the prediction is you're going to play it for 2022, in which case your prediction could be spot on. That's the ball's in your court. You have the power.
Do you think they could have
But
been like predicting that Resident Evil 4 will come out?
ooh, you know what? Maybe it was a typo. It's funny that the last time they submitted something, it was verbatim Resident Evil 3 remake. And so I think Resident Evil 3 remake is just on the brain for them, which hey, I
Jade,
respect it.
Jade Suits, if you're caught in a time loop and you can't play Resident Evil 3,
Blink twice.
if you need help, scream.
Also, if you
We'll
haven't
go.
played Resident Evil 2 remake, unbelievable game.
Yeah,
Probably my game of the year that year. Kamen, I think we're to our last predictions. Is this correct?
we are. We indeed. We are
Give me your
indeed.
last prediction.
So this one's a very niche
Okay.
prediction. And so I apologize if the
Niche
audience was
wild.
hoping that I would have something crazy for everyone. This is not for you. Persona will find new life.
Ooh.
Whether it be a new game or a spin-off, something new is coming from Atlas, and Persona will be in the title.
Do you think it's Persona on Switch? There's been so people have, I don't even know that they're rumors. People have just wanted it on Switch, me being one of them. But do you think they bring some of the Persona games to Switch?
I definitely foresee Persona games coming to Switch.
Yeah.
I think it's a very logical step for them.
Yeah.
My hope, my want, my dream, and this will never happen, is that they remake Persona 4 Golden. That would be phenomenal. I don't think that will ever happen.
That'd
but
be cool, though.
I do think this year we are going to get something Persona related will be announced. We
Like
know
Persona
already.
4 optimized for new systems. That'd be cool.
Yeah. We know already that Atlas is working on something big. They've already said that they have some like a huge announcement that they're going to be making in 2022. We don't know what it is yet, but it's something large enough for them to make like an announcement saying we have something huge coming.
Nice.
I think for
I've
Atlas,
missed that.
I think for Atlas to say that, they're not gonna like trigger their fans by being like, "Oh my god, guys, we got something huge," and then turn around and
Yeah.
be like, "Fire Emblem again, baby!" Like it's not
Right.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be Persona. I don't know what the hell it's gonna be. The last Persona game we got was Persona 5 Strikers, which comes out the day
Today.
before this episode. Is it today? Or well, it's
Oh,
not the
sure.
day they'd be
By the time
listening.
they've listened, it's out now for PS Plus.
Yes. So you
Yeah.
can play it on PlayStation Plus. That's like the next game I'm going to play. I've been very excited about that. But I think there's going to be a new Persona game. I don't know what capacity. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is exactly. And it
Mm-hmm.
could literally be at the Game Awards just a Persona 6. And that's all it
Yeah.
says. And
Could
that's
be.
the end. But we're going to get something Persona related this year.
Yeah, I really want it to be that they're bringing it to Switch because I have on my PlayStation right now Persona 5 Royal, and I want to play it so badly, but I remember when I played Persona 5 the first time OG Persona 5. By the end of it, I was like, I just really wish this was a handheld game.
Yeah.
And I got a Backbone in the hopes that I could do PS5 in handheld mode, kind of specifically for Persona 5 Royal, and it just doesn't work as well as I want it to. Like the more I've played with it, and I think it might be a me issue. I think it might be I don't have the PlayStation plugged into the router because I'm just not able to. But I want to play it, but I'm like I don't want to get 50 hours in and then just be like, and I not even get to the new content, right? But
yeah.
So I hope it comes to Switch. Okay, my last one, and this is almost certainly already not going to happen. But I'm swinging for the fences. I'm dreaming. I'm speaking truth to my dreams, Kamen.
Okay. Tell me all about your dreams.
A new mainline entry in the Metal Gear franchise will be announced, and it is being made by none other than Kojima Studios. And yes, it is in the same universe as Death Stranding.
No. All of that's false. Hey, I love you, Patrick. You know I do.
Wait and see.
Look, it's Kojima's relationship with Konami is so fucked right now.
But what better way to fix it all than giving him one final shot at Metal Gear?
Do you think he would go back to Metal Gear, though?
Okay, so the genesis of this idea, Kamen, is the most recent Death Stranding trailer, the director's cut trailer, where there was this section in the trailer with Sam Porter Bridges, played by Norman Reedus, that was just like so, and it might have just been referential. It might have just been him being tongue in cheek because he made Metal Gear. But there was this segment that was just like so obviously a nod to Metal Gear. And ever since then, I've just had this idea in the back of this bug in the back of my head that's like, I think Kojima wants to go back to Metal Gear. I'm almost certainly reading way too into that, but he didn't get to finish Metal Gear 5. Konami has already kind of said they want to get back into games, and they've already kind of started that process. I don't think they're smart enough, I think, to know that doing Metal Gear without Kojima just won't be successful.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Here's my spin-off prediction from you.
Okay. That spin me off, baby.
It won't be related to Death Stranding. It won't be Metal Gear. It will indeed be Silent Hill.
Okay.
That in my head makes more sense. He's in the director's cut of Death Stranding. There's actually an Easter egg he's included in a scene where if you do like a certain thing correctly, there's like a shower curtain and it like pans to a shower curtain, and it's like almost the exact spot on model of Lisa, like behind just the silhouette behind the shower curtain doing all the herky jerky movements.
Yeah.
And then like Norman Reedus' character Sam Porter gets attacked by this like black ink blob thing that's got that looks similar. I think that he's notorious for putting little jabs in there, but I think the realistic nature is that he's made. I mean, how many Metal Gear games were there in total? 6 or 7.
6 or 7.
There's Peace Walker and then something else. But no, I think that Metal Gear is one of those games that I don't think Kojima would want to go back to that just
Yeah,
yet.
sure.
That might be like his swan song that he
Yeah.
does later. I mean, he's not that he's a young sprite or anything, but I think that Metal Gear, his return to Metal Gear, would be like a swan song for him, like his
That's
last
fair.
hooray.
I could see that.
Where I think Silent Hill is a series that has not gotten a game in forever.
Yeah.
And the closest we've gotten was the PT
Right.
demo. And I think that we're at a point now where if Konami is going to make that move, that's the move they're going to make.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair point. I'm curious. Herky jerky. Mm-hmm. Is that related at all to the hokey pokey?
Mm-hmm. It is. You put your left knee in, and then you put your left knee out, and then you bash your head against your keyboard.
Got it.
And then you shake all about.
Then you shake it all out because you're seizing.
Because you've got brain damage now. Yeah.
Right. Did you have any? I had one other, like, in case I'm so surprised we didn't like double up at all. But did you have any like small, like last second predictions? Because I have one.
I mean, I think they're going to announce a new Pokemon game summertime that'll be released in November. That'll be like a brand new Pokemon game, not like Arceus, but like similar to like the old Pokemon games, like
another remake.
It'll be more like a Sword and Shield.
Okay,
I think, but I think like we'll get another one like that, like a modern day setting Pokemon game and like a new region. I think that's
fair. My only extra one that I had was the long rumored and long wanted Wind Waker remake will finally be announced and revealed.
That I could see that.
Because the reason I actually thought of it during the episode, because you talked about the Wii U, and I was like, I remembered I so badly, like there was times when I had it in like a cart and I really considered it, but I was in college and I didn't have a lot of money to get the Wind Waker Wii U, like the special edition.
That's actually the Wii U I had.
Oh, is it really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you still have it?
Oh
no.
That was lost years ago.
That's a shame. Oh, sure. If it never comes out, at some point I probably want to buy a cheap Wii U just to play Wind Waker on the Wii U, because I've always wanted to play it with the better graphics than the GameCube version. But anyway, well, that's our show. We're going to circle back in about 365 and see, especially with my predictions, there's like 7 pieces to each of them. So it's going to be hard to score them, but that's all in the fun. What predictions do you guys have? I put the post on Instagram quite late. I checked back a couple times just to see if anyone had any more, but no one else has chimed in. What predictions do you have for 2022? Gaming or non-gaming related? Maybe there's a show prediction or a book prediction you want to make. Let us know. Maybe there's a prediction about the podcasts you want to make. Let us know. Ooh. Thank you for coming along with the ride with us on this ride. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at Spot Games Pod. You can follow us on Instagram at Spotlight Games Podcast. You can email the show and be on the show, mail at spotlightgames.net. And something that I didn't say at the top, follow us on YouTube, man. What are you doing? Subscribe. Like, subscribe, share, slap, ding a dong. I also wanted to quickly say, this episode, I might sound a little different. I'm using the Blue Yeti mic that I won from a Geek Bomb stream with the one and only former guest of Spotlight Games Podcast, Maud Garrett.
Oh, yeah.
So shout out to you, Maud. Thank you, Maud, for the mic. So hey, if I sounded better, that's why. I meant to say it at the top of the show and I forgot. So, and if I sounded worse, well, I just don't. I don't believe it's true. There's no way I could have sounded worse. So yeah, thank you, Maud, for that. You can follow us, specifically us as people, at Patrick Schwag is me on Twitter, at Kid Kamen is Kamen on Twitter. And then also, January 11th, Save Trash Cinema.
Yes.
Troll 2. Trolls 2?
Troll 2.
Troll 2. It's singular.
You can find Troll 2 currently streaming on Peacock if you would like to watch the movie before the show. We will be getting into spoilers during the episode. So if you have never seen Troll 2, which goddamn you should, watch it immediately. You can watch it on Peacock. You can also stream it on Amazon Prime. And you could probably get a really shitty version of it off of YouTube. I don't give a fuck.
I'm just already remembering moments from this fucking movie. Then I
It's
can't wait
good.
to go
Look,
rewatch it.
I
Sing
can't
that song, I love.
I can't preface this enough and tell everyone that you guys have to check this show out. It's gonna
Yeah,
be absolutely wild. And
I'm excited.
if you've never even seen Troll 2, you don't want to watch it. Trust me, we're gonna do the best appreciation that you could possibly do of a movie like that. So please join us on January 11th. It's gonna be a great time.
5 days before my mom's birthday, Louise. Happy birthday.
Louise,
Pre-birthday.
happy early birthday. We love you.
All right, folks, that's our show. Thank you again for coming along with us. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you found it in the new Spotify feed. I hope that we're just right there in your ears right now. Kamen, thank you as always for coming along the ride with me. I always enjoy taking this with you at my side, at my glorious side, you, my sweet, sweet boy. Until we meet again, I bid you adieu. Thank you. I love you.
Guys.
Good night.